This sounds crazy,
Yeah,
innit?
yeah,
This
tell me
is
about it.
this is
Tell
this
me
is
about
top
it.
stuff. This is top stuff around here, man.
All right, listen, let's get into it, man. Today's show is brought to you by OMRG Motors, the vehicle sourcing specialist. Save thousands on your next car purchase with competitive APR rates as low as 9.8%. OMRG Motors are unrivaled by most main dealers. I repeat, most main dealers cannot match their rates. OMRG Motors has a broad lending panel that covers prime to subprime lenders. All that means is that even if your credit is poor as, they still just might be able to help you. If your credit score is lower than your IQ, luckily there's not much to think about. Get in touch, they might still be able to help you. If you've had more CCJs and BJs in your life, get in touch, they might still be able to help you. If you thought good credit was buying a £50 top-up on your pay-as-you-go, then you need to get in touch because OMRG Motors just might be able to get you approved for that motor you've always wanted. They're so confident in their rates that if you find a lower APR elsewhere, they'll match the savings and sort you £250 in cash. Use discount code ONELEAGUE to get £100 cash back on your next car purchase. Rate so low, it'll make you say OMFG. Socials are OMRG Motors. Website, all the w's.omrgmotors.co.uk. Now let's start the show. Yeah, I know that was smooth.
I'll be real.
That was smooth.
That was an 8.5.
All right, what? You giving this less than the one last time?
I gave the last time 8.5.
You gave it a 9, bro.
I said 8.5.
All right, fair enough. I don't think that's the same.
But
it's all good.
The last guest gave it a 9. I said 8.5.
You're trying to push me. You're trying to get the best out of me, Gaffer. It's all good.
It's all good.
I know what you're doing.
It's all in good. It's all in good nick.
All in good
It's all in good
faith,
nick.
yeah.
So what's this episode? What you gonna say? This
11, I believe.
episode 11.
Yeah.
Got the big man Simeon Jackson on.
Back.
Thank you for coming, man. I say this all the time, but yeah, this one I'm looking forward to.
I've been looking forward to this one.
I've been looking forward to this one.
Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for bringing me on.
Nah, man. Hey, listen.
I've been looking forward to this one as well because I remember as a younger lad watching Match of the Day.
Many years ago.
Yeah, many years. Hey, baby son. Watching Match of the Day and the name Simeon Jackson like ringing out, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and that was for Norwich City, but we'll get onto that. We'll get onto that.
Wow.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah, man.
So we like to start off with a little section called Wikipedia. We ain't believing ya. And basically what that is about is, there's a lot of information floating out there on Wikipedia. Mm-hmm. Not all of it is factual. So this is kind of our way of cross-checking what's legitimate from what's not. Because anyone can get on Wikipedia and put stuff on.
Okay.
Yeah, and I saw some stuff that was a little bit interesting about you. So let's see what it's saying. So, Simeon Alexander Jackson, correct?
Correct.
He loves the name.
So far, so
loves
good.
the
Hey,
name.
I'm going
He
in.
loves the name.
I'm going in, bro.
Well, to be fair, it's really junior because my dad's Simeon Alexander Jackson, but no one really knows.
No one knows that, yeah?
So no one calls you Junior?
No.
So,
As in, Dad didn't probably call you Junior?
No.
Okay.
What is
okay.
it? Wow, I didn't know that,
Yeah, that's crazy, isn't it?
Hey, dropped a little gem there. Hey, I like that still.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd like to be a junior, You know what I'm saying?
Why? Because you got to live up to...
I just want my own identity.
Hey, you're a hypocrite.
Why?
No, I just clocked something. You're a hypocrite.
What'd I do?
No, because we were having a debate about this. And you said there's nothing wrong with being a junior and this and that and this and that.
Hey, am I allowed to change my mind, bro?
Hey, you do this a lot. Hey, I'm starting to realize you're a hypocrite. We had a big debate about this. But hey, we're not going to get
Put it this way, my son's not a junior, so...
Yeah,
so
but that's
based on
not
that...
because of you.
I hear you.
Fair enough. And born in Kingston, Jamaica.
Yes.
Is another thing I saw. Okay, born in Kingston,
man,
JA. But then, I think the bit that I found interesting as well, correct me if I'm wrong, moved to Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, Ontario, Canada. Moved there when I was 3.
Serious?
Yeah.
Okay, so how long were you there for?
How long was I in Canada for?
Yeah.
So I moved there when I was 3. And the whole idea, I guess, there's a big Caribbean population in Canada, especially in Ontario.
Yeah.
Toronto, Mississauga, where I grew up.
Sorry. So is Ontario in Toronto?
No, so Ontario's like province. So
Okay.
kind of like the county.
Okay.
Got you.
But it's massive.
Okay.
I can imagine.
And then you have Toronto, and then you have Mississauga. So Mississauga's about 20 minutes, half an hour from Toronto.
Got you. So almost like a villagey kind of thing, or?
No.
city?
It's like small city. Well,
Okay.
I say small city. There's almost like over 1 million people there now, I think, in
Wow.
Mississauga. yeah, I want to say.
So I'm guessing you stayed there for quite a while because I can still hear the accent slightly.
Listen, my accent, don't try and...
Yeah,
I'll
hey,
try and
I was
change it
thinking that, you know,
because-
it blends in and out.
Listen,
You
man,
know?
it's... Even coming on here, I'm thinking, I don't even know what's going to come out.
Oh, seriously.
yeah.
One
Hey,
word
we
can
keep
sound
it,
anything.
keep it
Yeah.
authentic, bro. We keep it real.
Listen, you can get anything.
Okay.
In my household, anything can come out my mouth at any time. So
That's amazing.
yeah, so I was in Canada from 3 until I was 15, and then I moved here when I was 15.
Okay. Now, on Wikipedia, it said you moved here for footballing reasons.
Mhm.
And is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you start playing football then?
So why? I started playing when I was probably about 9,
Wow.
Okay.
8 or 9. And yeah, from young it was just, for me, football was my escape, really. So
Okay.
if you can imagine, when I left Jamaica and moved to Canada, I was 3. I didn't really know what's happened and why,
Yeah.
right? And so I moved to Canada to live with my aunt and uncle, and I was growing up with my little cousin. Well, we were the same age, so I grew up with my cousin, and yeah, I'd had loads of just pent up emotion and just kind of almost like a chip on my shoulder, almost, growing up, not really having all these questions and not really having the answers, kind of thing.
Yeah, because you're leaving mum and dad as well.
Yeah. I mean, like I have kids now, and when I look at, my little girl's going to be 3, my youngest is going to be 3 in a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
and I'm looking at her thinking,
Imagine, right?
imagine sending her to
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
That age,
to-
man.
to
Yeah.
Canada now at 3, like
Yeah.
yeah, it was big. So ever from young, football was just my release, and I just felt free being on a football pitch. And I just remember from about 11, 12, just saying, like, this is what I want to do.
Okay.
And I didn't really care where I had to go, what I had to do. So at 15, moving to England was just the right thing to
It's
do.
the right thing to do. And did you have to like consult aunt and uncle or?
Yeah, it was big. It was a family decision.
Okay.
Obviously you can't make your own decision to move at that age.
Yeah.
I was still a minor, so, but I had loads of family here, and I've been extremely lucky with that. And as a family, it was decided, I was very clear on what I wanted to do,
Okay.
and they just supported me. Just backed it, and then the family over here took it on board as well. So I moved to live with my nan, my grand aunt.
Yeah.
I call her my nan, and she took me in, and then started to go to school here and get into the system over here.
Okay.
You had to make it.
Yeah, really.
You had to. You
But
had to
do
make
you
it.
know what you hear so many of those stories where actually like there is no plan B, like because it
Bruv,
doesn't need to be.
Yeah,
like,
there's
it's either plan A
it's
or
that.
nothing. Yeah,
it's that.
Yeah, that's what it was for
that's
me.
what it was. Yeah,
I remember early on getting told, by a lot of people, you have to. What about your education? And
yeah,
what if it doesn't work out? And I'm thinking, no, dude, like there's no.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's working out.
This
Yeah,
has
like
to- this
I'm
has to
making
happen.
sure this happens.
Yeah.
So, and that was just my mindset from early on. So when I first came here, I was so intrigued by how like everything was here football wise, like the stadiums and the
Yeah.
pitches everywhere and
Yeah.
goals everywhere with nets. We're like, we didn't have our nets. Like,
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
you know,
It's
I'm
not a
thinking,
goal. You're going all the way to pick
yeah,
up the ball.
so I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
everything's here. It's on TV, everything. And I just looked at it. I was just hungry for it. So when I was
Okay.
going in to clubs on trial and stuff, I felt like it was just a privilege to be in the
Fuck.
football
It's a
environment. I
different
saw kids that
opportunity
kind
for
of
you.
took advantage of that.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really
Yeah, they took
take
it
it
for
as
granted.
serious.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah.
like, nah, like it was different for me. Different.
So was it soccer in Canada? Is that what
Yeah.
you called it?
Yeah.
Okay, soccer. Okay.
Okay.
So when you came here, you just said you were trialing for a couple of clubs. Which clubs did you trial for?
So my first trial was for actually Coventry when I was 12. Funny story, my aunt worked at an old age home, nursing home, and she would just brag about her kids.
Yeah.
Right. So a guy must have came in one day to her work and dropping off his mother, and he was wearing a Portsmouth jumper, Bumpy. And my aunt said, "Oh, that looks like a football top. My son, a soccer top. My son plays soccer. You should come and watch him. He's really good." They're like blowing me up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the guy was like, "Okay, all right, well, I'll come and watch." So he came, watched a couple of games,
Wow.
and
Did you know he was there?
No.
Okay.
But little did I know, he was an agent. And not
Okay.
only was he an agent, his name was Ed Abrook, and he was agent for Paul Hall, Dion Burton, like had represented top players at the time.
I'm amazed that you went to watch, man.
Yeah,
That's
like,
amazing. That's like stuff
Hey,
of destiny, isn't it?
Hey,
It's just
takes it
some of the
seriously.
stuff. Like some of the stuff, I look back, I think, what's the chances of that? Like,
Yeah.
in the same area, kind of at my aunt's work.
So
comes
wait,
to
what
watch.
team were you at where that you went
I
to
was
watch?
just playing grassroots. I was playing,
Sunday League.
yeah, kind of like rep
Okay.
kind of decent level-ish. And yeah, he came out, saw me. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna give you a trial to Coventry.
Wow.
So we were like, wow, like that was
Yeah,
unheard
yeah,
of.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
Kids from Canada at the time having an agent from England, like it's just unheard of. And
So-
yeah, that was my first.
So sorry to interrupt. What did he see? So sorry, say that agent's name again. What was his name?
Ed Abrook.
So Ed Abrook comes to watch young Simeon Jackson.
Mhm.
What did he see that made him say, yeah, you know what?
He just saw a kid that was just pure emotion on a football pitch, just running everywhere, putting in tackles, shooting from everywhere, taking on people, just
Raw.
raw.
Yeah.
Right? I just wanted to win at any cost.
Okay.
And my first, that kind of time, the team I was playing for, like, we were getting licked left, right, and center. Like, we were losing like 12s, 14s.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I would just cry sometimes after games. Like,
Yeah.
I was just it was everything.
Yeah.
Right? So I think he saw that and
Okay.
then, thought maybe give him a chance.
Are you being slightly modest, not mentioning what he might have seen football-wise in terms of technical ability?
To be honest, technically wise, I was all right. Like, I wasn't,
Oh, wow.
I was okay. I wasn't great. Like,
Yeah.
I could beat people. I had a powerful shot maybe. I was playing centre mid, so I
Okay.
just wanted to be in the middle of everything.
Okay.
And I had an engine on me, so he would, I haven't looked back on clips from that time ago, but I think he more saw a kid that was just hungry and just wanted it and was okay technically, and it was quick.
Yeah.
Just raw kind of attributes, and he thought, we
there
could
could
work
be
with that.
something.
Do you know what's interesting about that though? Is you didn't know he was there. So I can understand if you're playing like the way you're playing because you know he's there. Do you understand? You're running everywhere. You're doing that off of just the love of the game,
Yeah.
and you don't want to lose. That's what I find, man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like I said, that's why, for me, football wasn't just, it was everything. It was a lifestyle. It was
Yeah.
like, it was my release. So when I'm on the pitch, it's an opportunity to forget about not growing up with mum and dad, not kind of, having any of the stresses that I might have felt as a kid. It was just this place where I could just
Express
go
yourself.
in.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Exactly, yeah, express
Yeah.
myself.
Okay. Who do you support?
Yes.
Oof. Coming from Canada, I'm gonna say Man United.
So Man United was the first team I saw on TV.
Okay.
So we had a show called Soccer Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Big show.
Yeah.
You had to wake up Saturday morning early.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
that
9
here as well.
a.m.
Yeah,
right?
they have.
Because obviously the time difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kickoff's at 3 here. We have to wake up 9 a.m. to be catching.
Okay.
games.
Yeah.
And yeah, the first games I remember seeing was Man United, and I did have a thing for them. But as I got older, it just changed. Like, I was supporting Arsenal for a while, and then I just fell in love with Real Madrid. So now I can call myself a Real Madrid supporter.
Really?
Yeah.
But like, it was because of Galacticos, like R9.
Beckham, Zidane.
Like,
that era was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a cheat code, let's be honest.
That era was like
It didn't make
unfair,
sense.
bro. It was
Roberto
actually unfair.
Carlos at left back.
Zidane.
Yeah.
Zidane, Figo.
yeah.
I was watching a clip on Instagram of Zidane, like, I think the other day it popped up. And they played like the elegant music.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it just
Was like,
it
like
fit, it
classical.
I started
Yeah.
getting emotional.
Yeah, bro.
yeah.
I was like, dude, this guy was just
Yeah.
great.
Nah, he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Ain't that mad that I think, if you look at all the players in that time, obviously R9 was the name, but he was the man that stood out.
There was something, yeah.
There was something about
almost regal
Zidane
about
in
him.
that era that
Yeah.
was like, bro.
I mean, don't get too. I'm an R9 man, but
Yeah.
as some, they're different positions, aren't they? Different
Of
types.
course.
But for me, Zidane, there was something regal about him.
Yeah, it was
That's the word.
it was just a
effortless,
general.
it was, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It was just,
That's the word, regal.
yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I actually get that.
Yeah, it was crazy. Okay, so you've come here,
Mhm.
Coventry on trial. How did that go?
didn't go well at all. Came with my aunt and got to meet my English family for the first time. But
Okay.
I came injured. So literally 3 weeks before I came, played in a game in Canada and tried to be a bit fancy with the goalkeeper and tried to like, I remember it so vivid. Ball's coming in and I tried to like stab it with my left to like back spin it round him to go in.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
As
you
he's
think
come
you
out,
are,
so
bro?
I'm facing this way and I've gone like that to stab it. And he's grabbed my right ankle and just put everything on it to stop me. And I had a hairline fracture. So it was like devastating at the time because in my head, I'm building up for years for this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I'm only 12. But in my head, this is it, right? And then to hear that, you know, I've got a hairline fracture, I'm going to be out for however long. It was devastating. But we still came on the trip. I got to come and go to Cov and got to watch first team train, got to go to a game, got my
Okay.
first Premier League game
Yeah,
at the time.
Oh, they're in Prem at the time.
Yeah, so I got
Okay.
to
Oh, that's
see
a
like,
big thing, you know.
Yeah,
dude, I
wow,
got to
that's
see like
crazy. Yeah.
Robbie Keane, what was his name again? Mustafa, is it Aji?
Oh, Mustafa Haji. Yeah, he
Listen.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got to see
I
those
found
guys
out.
live.
Baller, bro. Yeah, he was good.
And I was 12 and I was just blown by it, like just seeing people coming down the tunnel. Like, I was like, what's the tunnel? Like, why are they coming out this
Yeah,
tunnel?
you know,
Like,
you start having varying questions.
I
You
was
have
like,
varying
wow,
questions.
and it was just amazing. I got my program signed and stuff and got to meet Gordon Strachan, who was the manager at the time.
Yeah.
So it was just, my first taste of it. And looking back, it was really important to come and still see and get a taste for it. Because then I went back and I was even more hungry for it then.
Of course, of
okay.
course.
Wikipedia won't believe you. I saw Dulwich Hamlet on there somewhere.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Yeah, right.
I didn't know that.
So I think this was maybe like still youth level.
Yeah. So Dulwich was an amazing thing. So leave Coventry, went back to Canada, grinding. Then at 15, it's like, right, we're moving over here. So I had an agent at the time. So I signed my first agent when I was 12.
Okay.
We didn't sign with Ed, we signed with someone else.
Okay.
And they kind of was trying to sort out a club and Gillingham was one of the clubs. Funny story, we'll get onto that eventually. But so I come and sign for Gills on schoolboy forums, fresh in the country. But everyone's getting told whether they're going to get a scholarship or not.
Okay.
And I'm nowhere near it. Like I went from training probably 3 days a week in Canada, doing 6 hours a week, to kids here are now doing 16, 18 hours a week training. So I was miles off it. So I come here, it's not really working out. And then within a month or so, I get released. Well, a couple of months. I think they signed me on like a 3-month thing. And then I got released.
Been there.
And I remember having the meeting because I was living in South London at my nan. So traveling to Gillingham, I was getting lifts here and there. Sometimes I had to take the train and what have you.
How old are you at this time?
15.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember going in for the meeting and Darren Hare, who was head of youth at the time.
I know who that is as well. Yeah.
Have you played under him? Or?
No, he's close with Hessenthaler, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're like family or something, isn't it?
Yeah. So Darren Hare came to Canada to do some training sessions and I went to the sessions and got to meet him and
Okay.
so then that's how the whole Gillian thing happened. Anyway, so I'm here now. They signed me 3 months. Darren brings me in and he's like, yeah, we're not going to offer you a contract.
Okay.
But, I feel responsible because, we're part of the reason why you came. So I'm going to put you in touch with the manager at Dulwich Hamlet.
Okay.
And that was Gavin Rose.
No,
Rose.
hey, everyone. Hey,
And
big up Gavin
I'll tell
Rose.
you now,
shout out Gavin
I'll
Rose.
tell you now, Gav has played such a massive part in my career. Like, people don't even know. Like, I respect this guy so much. Like, he was the one that, when I first went to Dulwich, took me in, kept telling me that I had a big head and I had all the American gear on, didn't I? So I had like baggy, extra large, everything, Apex and all that kind of bits. And then, so he'd laugh at me and make fun of me, but moving on from that point onwards, like anything I wanted to know or if I was struggling with something, I'd just ring Gav.
Okay.
Gav was always on the end of the field.
Big up
Are
Gavin.
we just talking about football related stuff or
Just everything.
just
Live,
everything?
football, everything.
Amazing. So, you mentioned before that you were a midfielder.
Mhm.
At what point did you make the transition to become a striker?
So Young was centre mid because I could be involved with everything. And then I think around that sort of 14, 15 was like, I started to play out wide a bit more.
Okay.
It was just pace and stuff and
Yeah.
just, kind of, and I was still raw. So it was like, touch, run, cross,
Yeah.
dribbling, cross. And then I was floating between playing up front, playing out wide. And then I think it's when I got to, Dulwich, started to play more centrally. And I started to figure out what it actually meant to play up front. Like,
Okay.
movement-wise, position-wise. I was playing up front during my trials at Gills and on the wing sometimes, but Dulwich was where I started to learn from Gav and everything about what it actually means to play up front.
And is there, I don't know if you can remember, is there like a specific game where you said to yourself,
I'm here now.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I've got an eye for goal, like I can do this, like this is me.
You know what? I always had an eye for goal when I was playing in centre mid anyway. That's what kind of sparked it for me because I felt like I could come from behind play and, let shots off from the edge of the box. And
Yeah.
for me, it was like, if we were down 1-0, I wanted to be the match when I wanted to score.
Yeah.
No matter where I was playing on the pitch. So I always had this wanting to score in every game.
Yeah.
And then when I started to realize that, you could you stand out. When you score
When
goals,
you
like
score goals.
you could actually have a career from making sure you only do this really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I started to just
The penny
really-
drops, innit? The
Yeah,
penny drops.
and I started to focus on that.
Okay, man. Wow. Okay. Funny enough, obviously, I know one or two players that have come from Hamlet, and gone from Hamlet to play professionally. Was that the transition you made?
Yeah. So I was lucky when I was there. We had, funny enough, George Alakobi.
Kobe,
We were in
yeah.
the same youth team now. at Dulwich.
Okay, yeah.
Listen, man. George in training,
Oh yeah,
he had obviously did it throughout his whole career, but
yeah,
you didn't want to get in a 50-50 with George.
yeah.
Well,
And this was youth team days.
I don't want to get into 50-50 now. He's a manager, bro.
Yeah,
Like, do you know what I mean?
He was just a monster. So, but we had like the whole thing with the Dulwich, kind of system and setup was you had lads that were playing in the youth team, playing in the first team or being involved in the first team, and lads that had gone on. So before me, you had like Albert Jarrett, you had.
Oh my God, we got Albert Jarrett.
Who
man.
else you had? George.
Okay.
George went on. I went on as well. But there was a few of us before.
Yeah,
that you could look and be like, oh, they did it.
yeah, Yeah.
The team was made up of literally loads of guys that had been released from pro clubs.
Yeah.
That were trying to find their feet back. So the team was good.
Yeah.
We had a really good youth team and yeah, from there kind of pushed on and got my chance to go into the pro game really.
What was it? What club was it?
Rushden.
It was
Rushden
Russian
Diamonds.
Diamonds.
What league were they? Were they League 2 at the time?
Oh, listen, Rushden were in the champ at the time.
Oh wow.
What?
Yeah, mad.
Rushden was big. Like,
What?
Wow.
dude, do people understand? Like, Rushden did non-league all the way up to champ. And then it was crazy. When I signed as a scholar, literally within the first 3 years, just went straight back down.
Oh,
And ended up in the conference. So by the end of my third year as a scholar, I was starting for the first team in the conference.
Wow.
Yeah. I made a couple of appearances in League 2 before we got relegated, and then first proper season was in
I
the
still
conference.
don't. It's the,
Yeah, Rushden
It
in
doesn't seem-
championship. Yeah, it
it's
was
mad.
Go back this, man. Just the facilities were like Rushden had, and I actually cried when I went back and saw what it's gone to now.
Okay.
Because like it was, as a scholar, you fall in love with the club when you're a scholar at a club, don't you? Like
Yeah.
buy into the values, you buy into everything. You're there every day.
Yeah.
You know the whole stadium
Yeah,
inside
yeah,
out.
yeah,
and
yeah.
and you know, you want the team to do well. And when you're seeing them going through the struggles,
Yeah.
It hurts.
it's so tough, right? And yeah, I mean, like they had players in the first team, like it was huge for me. Like we had like Anandi Lowe that came and played for them. Paul Hall came and played for them. Like
Yeah.
you had some decent names at the time that were doing well, and they just come off the back of promotions. So
Yeah.
there was a vibe that training ground was a joke. Pitches were unbelievable.
Yeah.
Canteen, kit. We had a robe. You come out from training, you have your robe. You put
What?
Dude, like
At Rushden?
RDFC.
This is madness.
Go
bro.
look it up, man.
Hey, that's the diamond in a rush.
Bro.
Yeah. And it was just so sad to see what it went to. Like, yeah, I remember driving past it and seeing it was just overgrown and the stadium had gone, and yeah, it was sad.
Where's that based though? Where's Rushden actually
Like
based?
near Northampton.
Okay.
Northampton, yeah,
Makes
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of their fans would share your sentiments, man. But it sounds almost like you can elevate too quickly, so that it comes down where maybe you don't have the foundation,
The right backing. and
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did, but then as soon as like, I think Max Griggs, who was like Doc Martens, or he was the one who was really influential in building them up, and then he pulled out, and then from there it was just
See ya.
Okay.
yeah,
That was it, bro.
yeah. No one
See
really
ya.
ever picked it up the way he did after that.
Who was the manager when you were there?
So the first manager was Brian Tolbert was the first team manager.
Brian Tolbert. Okay.
My youth team manager was Jeff Harrop, who I owe so much to Jeff as well. Like he spotted me in Canada as well. They came over, and then we kept a relationship since, and he was the one that gave me my chance in at Rushden.
You was a name in Canada, innit? Because, bro, no, when I'm thinking like, there's bare man that know you like in Canada that come over. Like,
Canada's a big place, but football wise, it's a small community, man. In terms of especially pro players or players that went on and played at a decent level, and you do tend to try and look out for each other. And when you play for the national team and stuff, you kind of you end up getting really close. And
yeah.
So, do you know, just to, I can't deviate from that point,
for it.
just because we're talking about nationals. So, one of the other things I realized is obviously you born in Jamaica, represented Canada nationally. Was that a choice that something you had to choose between, or was that an easy choice to make for you?
It was crazy because being born in Jamaica and having Jamaican roots, growing up, like even now I'll speak patois to my family, right? Like eating the food, growing up in the culture, that was, I felt that was my roots. And then falling in love with Canada from growing up in Canada and just feeling accepted. The Caribbean culture was really accepted in certain parts. And, there's just this diversity and just this kind of feel there. We're growing up. So you just felt at home there as well.
Anyway, it's like second home from home.
Yeah. So as I was growing up, it was like I got to see the Reggae Boys of '98.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
the World Cup. That must have been a big
That
thing,
was
bro.
big.
Like
And
one time.
I remember being in Jamaica.
I have to dig, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember being in Jamaica just before that and the hype and everything. And I thought, this is what I want to play for Jamaica.
Okay.
But as I moved over here and playing over here professionally, and then a lot of my boys that I'd play with back home, like David Edgar, Jamie Peters, and got a few others were moving over here as well. So there's maybe like a few of us over here now. And they were playing for the under-20s, Canadian national team.
Okay.
So I said, you know what though? Like, if I get called up, I'm not going to say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't say no.
Yeah,
That's where I went to school. It's where my main, friends are and stuff.
Yeah.
Family and stuff. So when I did get the actual call for the under-20s in the under-20 World Cup, I was like, yeah, I'm in.
You have to go,
I'm in.
yeah.
And then the first time just putting on the kit and going out in front of the home fans and stuff, I was like, yeah, this feels right.
It's the right choice, yeah.
And funny enough, it wasn't until, because obviously you can still change until you
when you play for the first team, yeah,
senior
squad.
squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my first senior call-up was against Jamaica. In
Oh,
Jamaica.
Wow, look at that.
In Jamaica.
In Jamaica.
Look at that. Man.
So you can
Baptism of
imagine
fire.
now I'm in Jamaica and like we're there at the hotel and I'm just like, right, I'm here to work. Like I'm here to
Professional.
international
Yeah.
professional.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna get emotional.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I remember I was involved. I was on the bench, but I didn't come on. And then Jamaica had to beat us 3-0 to win to go through because it was like a big game for them. But Canada, we were already out. Like it was just kind of like a final fixture to play out. We couldn't go through. And Jamaica ended up, I think, winning 3-0, but
Wow.
then the results didn't go for them.
Oh, so
The
they
results
still
went
didn't make
against
it
them, so they
through.
didn't go through. But anyway, we had a press conference afterwards, and they asked me to go to the press conference.
You
I'm
should have
thinking,
known better, bro.
I'm like 19, 19.
But this must have been because they know you're
Jamaican,
Jamaican
yeah.
roots, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm like, yeah, I think, no, sorry, well, yeah, probably 20. And anyway, I sit down, and I think I kind of knew what was coming.
You do know.
And then I had this reporter just say, so, Mr. Jackson. I'm thinking, I'm the youngest one here. I didn't play. Why are you coming?
Why are you
why are
coming
you
for
coming
me?
for me?
Yeah,
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 yeah.
And he asked me, he's like, oh, would you want to come and play some ball in Jamaica?
Wow.
I said, well, you can't ask me that when my coach is here. Like,
Yeah.
wait.
Them man have no chill, you know. Them man
Yeah.
have no chill.
And that's how I kind of squashed it at the time. But then there was this ongoing thing. So then we had the Gold Cup, I think it was that summer actually. And then the same thing. It was like, I'd now played my first friendly for Canada, but then we're going into the Gold Cup as like your first competitive game. So
Yeah.
that would have been it.
That would have cancelled it out, yeah.
Same thing. I'm coming in the tunnel before the game, and one of their officials was like, "Sure, say you want play it today." And I was like, "Dude, like it's done, gone. Like I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna switch kit halfway
I'd
through
be like, nah, yeah,
and say,
you're
yeah,
right.
no, I'm not playing."
Hey,
Right?
I find that so funny, bro.
that's
That
funny.
is such a young man thing to do as well. You sure
Yeah,
saying why I'm playing
so-
today, brother?
Yeah, and I was like, come on, man, like, it's gone. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, my mind was already made up for when I played under 20s.
Okay, and
Nah.
what who was in your squad like Canada that you in an under 20s team?
Yeah.
What players that maybe went on to
Oh
Yeah.
man, we had a solid squad, man. We had
Yeah?
like Asmir Begovic was in the team.
Bro, how?
Yeah, dude.
How did I not know
Asmir-
he was Canadian? That's really bad.
Asmir grew up in Edmonton,
Really?
right? Yeah, so we had Asmir, David Edgar, who played for Newcastle, Burnley.
I don't know this. Sorry, yeah.
We
Yeah,
had,
yeah, keep-
this is
keep
under
them coming.
20s, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
we
keep
had
them coming.
Jamie Peters, who played for Ipswich, and I think Jorgen came on loan to Gillingham, and was the youngest player to play for Canadian national team at the time.
Wow.
So we had a couple guys in Germany. We had guys that were playing in the championship and like for academies in Germany. Like we had a squad. Like we felt going into it, we were confident.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
But some of the guys we were up against was
Well, this is what I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
This is what I was gonna ask. Like, number one, I got loads of questions here.
Mhm.
Number one, would you say as a squad then you underachieved?
massively.
Why do you think that is?
I think we maybe were a bit complacent in terms of we felt like we knew what everyone could bring, but to make it happen on the pitch, it just wasn't gelling. There was just something there. And keeping in mind, some of us had played together since we were kids, right?
Yeah,
so
so
we
it should-
knew
yeah.
each other. we
You knew each
what
other's
we were
game,
good at.
yeah.
Yeah.
But then a bit of it was, I look around, like we had some guys playing in like different positions and just there was a whole bunch of stuff going on. And yeah, it just, for whatever reason, it didn't work. It didn't work.
Yeah. And the other thing I'd ask is, what do you think about the kind of the qualifying groups? Because this is something I've thought about before. I think it's quite unfair, but sports is
How
sports.
would they like do it?
I just think like obviously Canada they're up against who they
The
up against?
Americans.
Yeah, the Americans.
Yeah, so we got like USA, Mexico.
Brazil.
Yeah.
It's-
No, not
no,
Brazil.
Brazil's
Oh, Brazil, South America.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but-
what is it? It's
I think USA and Mexico.
Costa Rica, Honduras, Panama.
Okay, actually no, I thought there were a few tougher teams. So actually, based on that, actually, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I
maybe-
mean, you look at recently, like, the boys
They're-
have done
they're
extremely well.
Yeah, yeah.
Getting to the first World Cup was like just everything, like
Yeah.
massive monkey off our backs. That was in the national team. That was the one thing you just wanted to achieve.
Yeah, let's
it's
get
like
there.
sleepless
Get us there,
nights
let's get
over
us there,
it.
like, let's
yeah,
do it, man.
and then for the boys to do it and go and put a real good show on, and just display themselves in the right manner and way, was just really, really good.
And did you see the likes of the Alfonso Davies and Jonathan?
So they came in just after my kind of time really.
I do want to know how fast that guy is.
These raps.
No, I can see on TV, but you know, like,
wanna see it in
I just
person.
need to see it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Nah, he's what a talent. What a talent. But yeah, he came in just afterwards. So, you know, I was more of the Atiba Hutchinsons and Jonathan de Guzman.
Okay.
No, sorry, not Jonathan, Julian. Julian de Guzman.
But you lot paved the way for them. That's pretty
Yeah.
amazing, man. You must take a sense of pride.
Yeah, and even the ones before us, like, you
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
Paul Salteri's and like all of them kind of did their part and,
Yeah,
you know, helped us
Salteri,
come through, made
Salteri.
the way for us. And,
look at him, he's alive. Look, he's
I
buzzing
remember
off these
Salteri
names, you
still,
know?
yeah,
he's
He's
a
buzzing
player,
off these names.
Player, man.
yeah. Who do you support?
I'm Arsenal, man.
Okay.
I'm Arsenal, man. Yeah.
You already know. You already know where I am.
Yeah,
Who are you again?
unfortunately.
I'm over on the Liverpool side. Man. You know we know.
Let's not talk about that.
But
Okay, yes. So at what point coming back to kind of your
Club level.
your club level,
Mhm.
and what point did you feel comfortable, I want to say, but not in a bad way, as in like you are where you're supposed to be. So obviously you came to this country for the reason of playing football. At what
Yeah.
point did you think, yeah, like, I've done it here?
I don't think I got to, maybe I was there briefly at Norwich.
Okay.
Just from getting to championship level. But you have zero time for that. There's no getting
Yeah.
comfortable.
Yeah.
There's no like, you know, like you don't have time for it.
So
It's like, right, I'm here now. What's the next thing?
Yeah.
And the funny thing with Norwich was that the first day I went in, we were on our pre-season. So I signed in the summer and I joined the team in Germany for a pre-season trip. And I think I just caught the first day because there was stuff going on and there was a delay with it. But anyway, finally got there. And I remember Paul Lambert calling everyone in a meeting and he literally said to everyone, he said, if you don't believe we're getting promoted, there's a door.
Oh, wow.
And then straight away, you're like, look around at everyone thinking, okay, so I guess this is what we're doing then.
So what? This is the first day of the season?
First day of pre-season.
Pre-season, love it.
I got time for that.
Yeah, I love it.
And that was just like, oh, like we have work to do.
Yeah.
And for me, coming from League Two, well, we played League One, just got relegated. It was like, oh, so there's no time to think like, oh, I'm here. It's like,
Yeah.
nah, dude, we've got work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And
So wait, where did you move from to get the move to Norwich?
I was at Jules.
Okay, so
I
you
was
got
at
the-
Jules for 3 years, yeah. And
That's when you was with Dicko, yeah?
yeah,
Okay,
Dico
okay,
came on,
yeah.
on loan and yeah, it was good. It was a good time. I mean, you know, winning promotion with Gillingham was just standout.
Who's your
for
manager
sure.
there?
Stimo.
Stimo.
Yeah,
Wow.
Stimo bought me from Rushton to Jules. Yeah.
Stimo's got a good eye, you know. Stimo's got a good eye. Aaron
Yeah,
McLean
man.
spoke highly of Stimo as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's
because
good.
he was with him at Grays, right?
Yeah.
No, Stimo was good, man. Stimo was great with me. I remember one time he pulled me in and he was like, I was like, Gaffer, like, have a go at me, like, if I'm not doing it. Because he would never have a go at me.
Okay.
I'm like, I was used to getting, like, you know, in the conference and
Yeah,
playing under
getting
like conference
bullets.
manager.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I'm
what
getting
you
hammered.
doing?
Yeah.
So I was like, I can take it. He was like, nah. He's like, you're my striker. He's like, you're like my China doll. He's like, you just need to do your thing.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And I came
Very
out that
good.
thinking, all right, like, I just need to do my thing. So don't
Yeah.
worry about anything. Just go out and score goals. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
His man management's
to do.
top though, isn't it? His man management's
Yeah.
top. Like that's what I've never played under him, but I've just speaking to him and the way he talks to me, like he's like to me, for example, that's what he's like, yeah, you're a winger. Like, put the ball in the box.
Mm.
Like, that's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
Put the ball in the box and the right back stick. That's it. Don't complicate it.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, all right, yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Thinking,
wow.
all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, man management wise, I've just heard that he's top. He's really top. And so Norwich have bought you from Jills.
Yeah.
What's that? What are you feeling at that time, man? You must have been like a huge monkey off your back.
Yeah, huge. Just because it's something that from just the whole journey for me, it was like, you just want it so bad. So everything you do, your lifestyle, you eat, sleep, breathe it, and it's you working for this move to get to that level because you know that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
And then, when it finally does come off, it's, it is a massive relief. But then, as I say, it's like the work starts again.
Yeah.
I remember, my agent told me at the time when I got the first move to Gills, he was like, work starts now. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
You ain't got time.
I'm
you
in
ain't got
League
time.
One now, but like, oh yeah, work starts now. And then that's the motto I kept, throughout the levels. It's like, you move up again, work starts now.
Work starts now, yeah.
Mm.
Talk to us about pressure, man. So you just depicted how championship, we're getting promoted,
Mm.
you're the striker.
Mm.
So did you feel that pressure to score goals? How what's your relationship like with pressure?
My relationship with pressure is, I remember playing with Jordan Rhodes at Blackburn for a little bit when I was there, and he always used to say, "Pressure's for tires."
What?
And that was his motto. And that was maybe 27, 28. But up until then, the way how I dealt with pressure was like, you want pressure.
Yeah.
Like, as a striker, you want to be taking the penalty at the 89th, 90th minute.
Yeah.
Like, you just,
This is what you do.
this is what I do, right?
Yeah.
And it's not something that you just switch on and off. Like, it's something that I was doing from when I was under 10s, 11s.
Yeah.
Like, going into games like 1-0 down, like, you want to score. You want to score the
You wanna
winner.
be the match
in
winner.
training.
Yeah.
People used to think I was like, in training, if it's a 5-a-side and we're down 1-0, 2-0, I'm putting myself under the same pressure.
Yeah.
As if
It's
it's
a
on a
game.
Saturday. And then
Yeah.
when that whistle goes and you didn't get it, you're just like, oh, like you feel the same sort of feeling. So you're constantly putting yourself on that strain.
Yeah.
So when it comes on a Saturday, it's like, I'm doing this all the time anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It becomes second nature. It's just like,
So what was the lowest point in your career?
Lowest point was linked in with the highest point. So highest point being playing for Norwich, being in the Premier League, but then also now having to deal with everything that comes with that. And you're in the Premier League, but you're people say it like, you're not a Premier League player until you're there.
Got 50 games or
Like,
whatever.
Yeah,
4 or 5
you're
years,
established.
like,
You're
yeah,
established, right?
yeah.
You just had a stint, like you had a taste of it.
Yeah.
So, getting to that level and then having to deal with that also triggered the lowest points, because as high as I was from getting there and being involved and crucially involved to helping us get there, to then getting there and now not being involved, not playing,
Yeah.
and kind of not being main man almost. You're like, yeah, it just triggers a whole different kind of low.
I can imagine that. And that's something that we saw as well. The words used that I saw was fell out of favour when Norwich reached the Premiership.
Mm-hmm.
What happened there? What differences did you find in the league? What do you think?
Well, the build up to it was, I came into the team before we got there, where you had Grant Holt, you had Chrissy Martin, you had Wes Houlihan. Like, these guys were banging in like 20 each
Them are cold.
in like League One, right?
Yeah.
And then in the Champ as well, like banging in. So I was always, I knew my role was to add to that.
Okay.
So I had to be very patient. So the first season there, I think I didn't really get my first chance till halfway through the season. But something always told me that, like, it's, I'm here for a reason. So stick with it. And it was a challenge, but then we got to around January times and there was talk of me going on loan. And there was a deal that was pretty much nearly done between Mikel Smith from Peterborough.
Okay.
Coming to Norwich, and I was meant to go on loan to Peterborough.
Okay.
So I literally pulled the gaffer and said, "Gaffer, like, what do you need to see from me to get me in the team? For me to get in the team?" He was like,
I love that.
That's how you had to phrase it. I learned that from Gav.
Yeah.
I was like, never go and knock on the door and say, "Why am I not playing?"
Yeah.
Ask, "What do I need to do to get in the team?
Yeah.
What do you need to see from me?" And he was like, "Awesome. I think you need to just get games. You're not going to play. You need to get games." And something in me just said, "Nah." And I literally said to him, I was like, "You know what, Gaffer? Like, no, I want to stay and fight for my place." And He said, okay. And then after that, like, deal got scrapped. So I stayed.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, ended up going on to the back end of the season, being crucial in terms of, scoring some goals to help us get promoted. And it was a whole year of just being in and out and having to really fight my corner of saying, like, no, I belong here. Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
I wanted it. And
So you're almost battling with yourself, sort of thing, isn't it? Like
it's you
as well.
versus you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You versus you. I mean, it's just what it is. But to answer your question about, being out of favor in the Premier League, it was like you worked so hard to get there. I knew what the challenge was already from the year before. So now I was like, oh, I'm doing it at this level. Let's go again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But it was really tough. Really tough.
Wow.
I remember you talking to me. So while we're on that, I remember you know me, I love a story. When we be on the court, sometimes I'm just talking to you and whatnot. And I remember I was saying to you, what was it like playing against like John Terry? And I remember you said he was top. Like, do you remember what like?
Dude, like, I remember the story. I remember telling you because we had John Terry's nephew.
Yeah,
Brother
Frankie.
was
Yeah,
Frankie.
Frankie.
And I remember saying to Frankie, like, watching John Terry play before as a young player coming up, and even in lower leagues, I'm like, I would just run him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't wait to play against him.
Yeah.
There's certain defenders I was looking at in the Premier League, like, I'm just gonna run him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use my movement. Like, they won't be able to live with me. But playing against John Terry was a whole different experience. Like, I was never in a position to run him. Like, he would never put himself in an area where he's vulnerable. Like, he just read everything ahead of what you're almost doing next.
Yeah.
And that's what I found. That was the biggest jump up, was where in the lower leagues, I could use my pace and use my movement. I was still using my movement, but I had to get even more clever because certain guys would just stand up, play offside, or you knock it in the channel, you get there and they'll just Cruyff out and just play a pass. And it's not like lower leagues, they knock it out in the for a throw and then you get a ripple because like, oh, you've chased it. No. Like,
The man
guys
Cruyff
just
it out.
Cruyff in
What
and
was that? John Terry was that what he was on?
yeah, he was just top. And I remember afterwards thinking, I got zero change from him.
Yeah.
And then playing against him again when he was at Villa, and it's like same thing, like zero change.
So let's get technical then. So you said you have to get more clever. What kind of things did you
So
once your game did you adapt?
my game, imagine when I was young, I was just raw. So run, so I'd pace, and I could score. So I'd just try and score. League 2, League 1, I had to get good at my hold-up play.
Mhm.
So I had to be physical.
Yeah,
I
you're
had
actually
to
very good at that.
learn how to hold the ball up.
Mhm.
Because you can't just get away with being the short, nippy one in League 2 when you're playing against,
These
certain
caravans,
places,
bro.
right?
These big
And
men.
it was the
bro.
same in the conference as well. So, but then as you got to like the champ now, it was, not only does my hold up play need to be good, like my overall game needs to be good. My ball retention, my certain aspects aerially, like I had to get good at competing in the air because you start to realize when you're not playing, you're playing for certain reasons. Like, well, okay, aerially, you're not going to compete or your hold-up play is not good. And if the game didn't suit you, you wouldn't play.
Yeah.
So as a player now, you look at that and you think, okay, how do I make myself like, you hear like Thierry Henry speak about all the time, it's like, you have to be undroppable.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, now I need to work on aerial presence. I need to work on hold-up play. And I need to make myself a nuisance. And that's what you had to do.
Yeah.
That's madness.
That is crazy.
So was John Terry the hardest defender you played against?
Yeah, obviously up there just in terms of like the level he played at. Rio was you don't get no change out.
I can imagine them in a Rolls Royce, innit?
Yeah, just next level.
Anyone that might be surprising?
Surprising, yeah. Like Sylvain Distin.
I mean, what a baller.
Blocks.
Yeah,
Blockhead. Yeah, that's how you call it.
You know how strong and quick he was.
Yeah, he looked it. Yeah, he looked it.
Like guys like him were just like strong,
Yeah,
quick. So it's like what do you do?
Yeah, I know that feeling. I hate that feeling.
Like, it's very like there's no weakness. Like I can't unless even if I'm running at him, like
he's still strong and quick.
Go boom.
Yeah.
It's.
Was there any like other strikers that you're watching there and you're like, whoa, like is this the level? Like, is there anyone that shocked you? Like really, really shocked you?
Aguero.
Oh yeah. There you go. There, sorry, what was I?
Yeah, I just gone to.
Kun Aguero.
Yeah.
What?
Like, he was so just elegant with his like movement and stuff. Like he just knew what positions to be in, and he was just constantly a threat throughout the whole game. And sometimes you look at him, he wouldn't be involved, but then like just the right moments, just knowing what to do, where to be.
Yeah.
Like yeah, there was some players that you look and you're just like you're good.
Yeah.
Like,
You're born to do this.
you're amazing.
You're just top. Yeah,
you're the guy.
Nah, but that's what it's all about, man. And then, so for me, like when obviously when I met you, I was just like, bro, this guy's a complete footballer. Like, I didn't understand. Like I didn't get it. Like obviously, like, and I didn't even think it was you. So when I think when I first met you, obviously everyone's saying, yeah, you're right, Simeon, like where. Simeon, like who's this guy kind of thing, innit?
Who's this guy?
I was like, who's this guy? But then I'm watching you play. I'm like, no.
Was this at Dagenham Redridge?
Yeah, that's where we met.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. So I was kind of out of contract and just trying to get in anywhere and just trying to get training. And spoke to the manager at the time. He's like, "Yeah, just come down and train." And I remember coming to the training session and just scoping out everyone and seeing who's who. And I remember this one getting the ball out wide, and he was just so direct, whipped in like first time, just direct, boom, boom, cross. And I was like, yeah, like
Yeah.
I can mess
get
with
onto
that. That's the type of winger I want to play with.
Yeah.
And yeah, since then I was just like, I think we spoke afterwards. I was like, where are you? Like, you signed, and we just kind of clicked.
Okay.
From there, and yeah.
Okay.
Because it's so funny. Even with that, is I remember that time you're talking about where I crossed it, but he weren't there at the first time, and he done this to me. He was like, okay.
Oh,
like he knew, he done this. He was like, okay, that's what you're on. Okay. And then he got like the next one. He got like, and I was like, yeah, this guy, like, and then from there we just clicked.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was just proper good.
So like rewinding a bit, you played in Germany.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this team because Eintracht. I can't remember how to say the last bit.
Braunschweig.
Braunschweig.
Right, sounding like
Braunschweig. You try and say Braunschweig without sounding German.
Nah, you need the hand as well. Braunschweig. Yeah.
Eintracht Braunschweig. What stage of your career was that?
Oh, it was. So I just my contract at Norwich had ended. I got offered one earlier that season, but I turned it down because I was out of favour, wasn't really playing, and I was like, I don't really want to stay if I'm not playing.
Yeah.
As a striker, you're like, I know I need to play, so let me try and go somewhere where I could play. And over the summer, I went away with Canada. We had the Gold Cup, and we played the first game, and it's the biggest mistake I made, like internationally. Like I left after the first game.
Oh, the tournament?
Yeah. And the build up to it was I was uncertain of where I was going to go, speaking to a few clubs, and funny enough, I was meant to sign for Bournemouth.
Okay.
And everything was pretty much like agreed. And then it wasn't until I was away with Canada that that Braunschweig came in. And looking back now, it was like I was just poorly advised. Like the whole thing, like it was like, right. I felt at the time it was like, well, if I don't go and do it now, it might not be on the table at the end of the tournament.
Okay. What league were Bournemouth in?
So Bournemouth were in the Championship.
And I'm guessing Eintracht were Bundesliga?
Yeah.
Okay.
Makes sense.
So I was like, right, Bundesliga club comes in, like I have to go and look at it.
Yeah.
See what it is. And yeah, the advice at the time was, look, just go see it, get a feel, leave the national team. And looking back now, I wouldn't do that again.
So you really missed that tournament. You wanted to play.
Yeah, but just, the impact of it and you leaving your team, like the tournament, like, you see it happens now. Obviously, certain players have gone through it for different reasons, but for me, it was just out of fear of
missing out on that opportunity.
Yeah, like, I don't want to miss that opportunity. And
FOMO.
Yeah, but
I get that though.
Yeah.
So it was tough. And then, so I get there and I'm there for a couple of days and just weren't sure. But then I just thought, you know what, if I can crack this and do it at this level, it's a big risk to an extent, but I could easily go back to England and get something else, and took the chance. And I enjoyed, I got to play against some of the top clubs as well, and
Yeah.
experienced that.
Bayern Munich and the
experience.
Dortmunds.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
What players were you playing against these times?
So yeah, that Munich team, you had like Iron Robin, you had Kraus, you had Muller.
Thiago there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
Thiago.
this guy.
Well, what's he like? Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me.
Dude, I can't. I just can't, man. I was just mesmerized by what he was doing with the football. Like, if you watch him now, up until last season, like the way he just caresses the ball,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
he just
Yeah.
he is a master at, in that engine room, and the passes he makes and everything. And you can't even get near him.
He's
He just
unprecedented.
manipulates- Like,
It's his rhythm as well, you know. It's
everything.
just
Like, he just makes it look crisp.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah, I was
footballer, man.
blown by him. Yeah,
Wow, you've played with some players, man.
So wait.
Lucky,
What's
lucky.
what's that German football like though? What was the difference that you noticed between the Premier League and the Bundesliga?
Tactically?
Okay.
You see, like, all these kind of shapes and tactics that we've seen in the Premier League. Like, Bundesliga, every team has a different shape and a different formation. Like, I remember my first team meeting going in before the start of the season. I think we played Werder Bremen,
Okay.
and like, remember, everything's in German,
Mm.
but they would print me out like a
Translate.
printout of what the plan is, set piece, everything. My printout was about that thick.
Wow.
I remember sitting there thinking, I can't go through.
They actually
Yeah,
expect you
yeah,
to
yeah.
read it.
Like,
Wow.
this is not. But and then sitting in the meeting and they're going through it during the meeting, and I have my printout and I'm looking at it thinking, like, surely they're just playing 4-3-3. Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why do we need to go through all this detail? But just like little things. Like, I remember seeing it first, the whole midfielder rolling out to the fullback position. Like, that was in Germany time ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right? Like, and like I said, every game you go into, you have to adapt, and it's a different game plan because different teams play completely different styles. So I learned so much about football
Yeah.
being over there, and yeah, it was amazing.
And did you take to it? Would you say it was an adaptation that you were able to make?
I was
or-
struggling. I struggled with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I struggled with it because I was so used to the English culture of come in, train, short, sharp, go home, do your little extra bit, save it for Saturday. Everything's based on the game.
Yeah.
There, everything's about training.
Wow.
If you don't train well,
You're not playing.
you're not playing.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
like in training sessions, like I remember we were doing like a passing drill for maybe 15 minutes, the same drill,
Yeah.
no variation,
Yeah.
just the same thing. And I'm looking at it thinking, surely he's about to change it up now. Like,
Yeah.
So I'm getting a bit almost bored with it.
Yeah.
And I think I must have had a bad touch after about 10 minutes just from doing it the same way.
Yeah.
And everyone was on me. Weiter, weiter. And I'm like, guys, we've been doing the same drill for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready to move on now. I'm ready to
Yeah.
do shape now.
Yeah.
But they were just, it was really
Relentless,
intense.
yeah.
And I found it tough just because of the intensity. And I didn't really know the kind of like the etiquette, like, with
Yeah.
certain things. Like, it was very, the group was very well knitted and everything, because they were like a Bournemouth come up from League 2 to the top level. And,
Okay.
there was a buzz around the place, and it was brilliant to be a part of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of struggled with the level.
And was language a factor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Language was big. They did their best to try and help me with it.
Yeah.
But sitting in team meetings and you having to go off what the feeling is
Yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah.
right? And you're like, oh, he's angry. Like he's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Get
that.
told off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're looking at everyone's reactions and you're like, okay, yeah, no, this isn't good. Right?
Yeah.
And yeah. So there's you learn different tools to
To cope with that. Yeah.
So sorry to kind of cut you there, but I know a story with you where you told me about Iron Robin, and this story when I think you worked on the shape you were saying, and I think you looked. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah.
The one when you played Bayern Munich?
Yeah, so keeping in mind, building up to that week, like I wasn't really involved. Like I was training, and the physio came to me like 2 days before or earlier on in the week, and he was like, called me Jackie. He's like, Jackie, he's like, if you want to play, just go and tackle some people in training. I was like, okay. Because every Thursday we had an 11v11. Shin pads on a lot, like serious.
Okay.
So I was like, all right. So I go into training, I'm just taking out people left, right, center, 50-50s, bosh. And next thing I'm starting, right? So I'm like, okay, was that simple? I'll just try to do that every week.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so we're at the Alliance now, and you know what you're going to get. Like, you ain't going to touch the ball. You're going to try and catch them on the counter, and you just have to be disciplined and keep your shape and hope for the best.
Yeah.
So I'm playing left wing, and they're bopping it. And we're still early on. And I remember thinking, all right, I'm on the left, so ball, man.
Yeah.
And I can see Robin's on the touchline far away from me. So I'm thinking, right, if it gets switched, shuffle across, we could deal with it. So I've gone ball, man. Look back at the ball. By the time I've looked back at the ball, it's gone over the top, over my head. And he's already brought it down and scored before I'd even like, it was literally like that quick. And I remember thinking, no, that your head just, I was like, how did that happen?
How?
So
Yeah.
Like it's not real. Like
it's literally like he's ball there, ball, goal. And you're like, nah, this is next level. Like,
wow.
Like what? Like is he really really quick as well?
it was just how quick they moved the ball.
Yeah.
So like you had like Kraus and like, you know,
That
players and
Thiago.
the
Wow.
ball does the work, man. So the movement was just, you couldn't.
Is Lewandowski there them times as well?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we need to move because we've got 5 minutes. So,
Oh,
okay.
Very quickly, I just want to quick because I saw you play for Millwall as well.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Millwall known to be quite notorious fans, notorious club.
Mhm.
What was that like?
Well, the day I signed, I was in the stands kind of watching the game, and one of the fans must have, I think we were in a relegation battle at the time, and it was under Ian Holloway, great guy as well, like top manager as well, yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember one of the fans said, "Oi, Jackson, have you got any Tipex for that contract you just signed?" And I was like, okay, like, welcome. And it was just, yeah, like some of the stuff that just came up, you just,
Madness.
Hey, so
Yeah, it
I
was
think I need to do
different.
this disclaimer for listeners who might be under a certain age. Tipex is something we used to use. Yeah.
Yeah, innit?
When you
yeah.
when
It's
you
a clear
write
pen.
something, you kind of Tipex it over so you can write over it. So you can
Yeah.
I know some people might be like, what's Tipex?
yeah. So, and that was like day one. So, but I mean, we could do a whole podcast on
Millwall.
on my time at Millwall.
You
Yeah, it
might
was
have
just,
to come
it was
back, man.
intense.
We
It was
will have to
intense.
bring you back, Jacko, man.
But yeah,
Okay, so just to end, we've started a new segment. It's just basically quick fire questions, but we call it one touch finish.
Okay.
Because you don't have much time to think about it, just go for it. All right. So,
Yep.
this isn't part of quick fire questions, but just to put into context, which club are you at the minute?
so I'm not playing at the minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
coaching and doing some mentoring and speaking and getting into
Okay.
that world.
Okay. So what I want to know is, best team, and you touched upon a couple already,
Mhm.
but best team you've ever played against.
I would say Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
Best stadium you've played in.
Favorite stadium or best, like the best?
I'll give you favorite.
Emirates.
Emirates.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Why? Very quick.
Just the pitch, man.
Okay. Carpet.
No bubbles.
It's carpet. Okay.
Yeah.
Loudest fans you've played against.
Largest fans would be in Argentina.
Is it?
Oh,
What, national?
national.
Yeah, we played in Argentina away, and yeah, the fans. It was like
This
River
one, innit?
Plate Stadium, and it was when they came out for the warm up. It was like I can't explain the sound. What happened? Like I got scared. I was like, yeah, no, this is
Okay.
next level.
Best boots you've ever owned. Your favorite boots.
Favorite boots is the vapes.
Come
Okay.
on, man.
Yeah, vapes.
Okay. Socks high or low?
High over the knees.
Over the knees.
Yeah.
Okay. Cold, wintry day, gloves on or off?
I've got a story about that, but gloves on.
Oh,
Yeah, Jacko, I've seen you wear gloves. I was just gonna say, your
Gloves on.
gloves, man. I've seen you wear gloves too.
Do you know, very quickly, story. Very quickly. Cool.
Quick story. I was at Norwich and I was sat in the dressing room and it was cold. And Paul Lambert came in, his manager at the time. And he saw me holding the gloves in my hand. He looked at me, he's like, where are you going with those? I said, I'm going to wear them, gaffer. And everyone just sat and went, like as if I was in trouble.
Listen.
And I was confused. I was like, well, obviously
What's
I've
wrong
got
with
them in my
wearing
hand,
gloves?
like I'm going to wear them. And he said, oh, okay, big fine for that then. Just slowly tucked the gloves in my
Yeah.
Just didn't put them on. He was,
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
he was old school like that.
Okay, your favorite teammate ever?
Favorite team.
You ain't gotta say me, bro. You ain't gotta.
Yeah, you can't say that every time. You know?
Hey.
Good question, man. Julian de Guzman.
Julian de Guzman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Training, tracksuit bottoms on or shorts?
It's cold here, man.
Tracksuit
yeah,
bottoms.
I'm just, you know, I know these answers, so I'm just watching him like, I'm waiting to see if he lies.
Okay, last one before we go. Your favorite goal that you scored?
Dude, my first goal in the Premier League.
Okay.
Yeah, Wolves away. Yeah.
Wolves away. Okay. Yeah, just because we've got seconds, we've got a tradition on this show where the last guest leaves a gem for the next guest to relate to, and then you will leave a gem.
You remember it now,
future
yeah?
guest. I do, just because it was a few days ago.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
basically, our last guest said that there's lots of resources for younger players to tap into, and it might be a bit easier to make it. Where do you stand on that? Agree, disagree? What are your thoughts on that generally?
Yeah, nowadays, like the information you can get access to, like I just wanted to know what to do as a player. Now the information is out there. Like, I mean, like me personally, I'm putting together an online course to try and, use all the principles that I used throughout my career to try and help, younger players and people and stuff. And
Amazing. What's that called?
it's called How to Win the Mental Battle for Your Success.
And where can people find that?
I'll send you a link so you can go and download that.
Perfect.
On my
We'll
website.
put that on. So.
Yeah,
And what would your gem be?
My gem for the next guest coming on.
Yes.
The game is changing, and we won't resemble the current form of the game now in, I think next 5-10 years in terms of kind of data and AI and everything. I think I'd love to hear someone else's stance on
Interesting.
on where they think it's going to go. Because if you look at how everything's coming in now, it's like
Data heavy, right?
Oh,
Data, yeah.
and AI and everything. Like some companies that are coming out with some bits of kit, like it's different. Like these kids now coming into a game that it's very, very scrutinized, and you got players like that won't be signed just because what their makeup is and what they're like. It's just
100%.
completely different. So I'd love to hear someone else's take on.
Okay, we shall let that know. Okay,
Hey, that's a wrap.
yes, the wrap.
One league.
It's been an amazing show. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thanks for
that
having
was a
me.
great conversation. One league.